the art of fragrance, right? I know we talk about compliment getters and mass-pleasing scents and versatile, easy-to-wear things all the time, right? A lot of times I'm trying to bring you guys content in a way where you can apply it to your situation and your life. So if you want something that gets positive feedback, you can wear fragrances I talk about in that video. If you want something that's just easy to wear, you can wear stuff in that video. If you want something that's good for fall, winter, spring, or whatever, then it's just very easy to digest this type of content. And that's kind of what I'm going for. But today I don't want to focus on any of that. I just want to talk about the true art of some of these fragrances, because at the end of the day, while there is a lot of cookie cutter releases out there, things that smell similar, there's also some stuff that just may blow your mind. So to me, all of these fragrances are works of art in their own way. There's just something special and unique about each and every one of these. Now, don't get me wrong. When I actually finished putting this video together and I started looking, I'm like, a lot of these actually are pretty mass pleasing. Again, we're sticking with designers here, and designer brands are very good about putting out things that, one, please the masses, but two, with a lot of these more premium brands here, designer brands, they're able to walk that line and they're able to give us something that's different that still smells good. And that's one of the benefits of designers, especially higher end designers, over some niche products out there, where then you might be kind of doing a little bit of a balancing act. So I will provide links to all these down below to discounters. If I'm referencing prices, it's going to be through discounters. And don't forget to check out my community tab. I'm posting deals over there every day, doing a $500 giveaway right now. So you can go over there, find that post and enter. We're doing a whole bunch of cool stuff over there. You can save a lot of money, but let's go ahead and get into it. So first up, I'm going to start off with the most obvious choice for this video, Dior Homme Intense. It's got iris, it's got cacao, lavender. I mean, I don't need to describe this one. I'm not going to spend time on this, but to me, this is a true masterpiece work of art. There's nothing else out there like it, except for the fragrances that came after this that then tried to copy off of it. But in its peak, you know, when it first came out, this completely just rocked everyone's world in either a good way or a bad way. People love it, people hate it, very polarizing. But one thing's for sure, even if you don't like how it smells, I think you can still appreciate just how different it is and kind of that it was trying to pioneer a new style of scent, which it definitely did. Started with Dior Homme, and of course the Intense, and then from there we have a ton of sweeter iris fragrances now. But this DNA is kind of what really kicked it into gear. Next up, we have Issey Miyake Polaris. So there's actually a few from the brand that I think are really, really good. This is the one I wanted to highlight today because it's one that, for whatever reason, is a little bit tough to get sometimes, but it is in stock right now, like $56 for a 100 ml bottle just like this one. So at that price point, you cannot go wrong, even at a blind buy. It's got leather, vanilla, some tonka bean in here, and then a little bit of oud. It's not too strong, not too overbearing, but it just gives it a little bit of a texture, a little bit of a variety, and ultimately it makes it stand out among some of the others from the line and just from other designer fragrances in general. Typically, designer oud fragrances are going to be on the much more wearable side, and I really wouldn't even call this an oud fragrance necessarily because it's not all that prominent, but you know, it's up to you however you want to classify it. While it's there, it's not the main show. It's really kind of helping along the leather, the amber, the vanillic sweetness, but it's a great composition that I can tell they spent some time on to put out something that was really cool and unique. Love this one up next, Chanel Allure Homme Edition Blanche. So I'm a big fan of the entire Allure Homme line. Everything from the original to the Sport, Eau Extreme, and even the cologne versions, the fresh ones. I like them all, right? I have all of them, multiple bottles of different years and concentrations and all of that crazy stuff. But Edition Blanche is one that has really grown on me in the past couple of years because it's got this lemon accord mixing with vanilla, and then of course tonka bean. So still very much that Allure Homme DNA, but it smells like a lemon meringue pie. You've probably heard that ad nauseum when people are describing this one, but it's a really good descriptor. It does smell like that. And so because of that, I kind of classify this one as a summer gourmand. Now, it's not, super, super fresh, right? Not your typical summer fragrance, but again, summer gourmand. Typically, a gourmand is going to have a bit of a sweetness to it, and that's what this one does have. But the combination here in this one is so incredible, and it's absolutely breathtaking. Another no-brainer for me, another very obvious one for you probably, whether you agree with it or you just figured I was going to put it in here because you probably know I like this stuff. Armani Code Absolute, Tonka Bean Vanilla, Orange, and Suede. So the suede is kind of a nice addition here to this one. Just basically it comes across like a very light, silky, creamy leather accord, and it really works along well with the vanilla, the tonka sweetness overall, and then even a little bit of orange up top, which is kind of giving it a little bit of a sweet, fruity opening to balance this one out just a little bit. But that does dissipate as the scent starts to dry down. I think this is a flanker done right. I think more designer brands should look at how Armani approached doing this flanker, because you still do get some of that code DNA in here, the original code EDT, but then it's just amplified, it's changed up, it's different enough to be not redundant, but it also isn't too different to where it doesn't make any sort of sense. I think they struck an amazing balance here with this one, and this stuff is absolutely gorgeous. You gotta have this. Next up, we've got my little, what is this, 40 ml, kind of an oddball size of La Nuit de l'Homme. So I bought this for a couple of reasons, one of which because I really just kind of wanted to get the new batch, okay? You hear La Nuit de l'Homme talked about all the time in a poor light because of her formulation. And so this is 38UD2EH. The batch numbers are getting longer and longer. Remember when they were 4-digit for the, the very beginning of the scent, which I do have a couple bottles, by the way. Talked about this formulation before, and I talk about it non-biased, and then people say, oh, you probably don't even have original 4-digit bottles. You don't know what you're talking about. But actually, I do have those originals. Actually, here's one right here for you. Metal cap and all. And as you can see on the bottom, I'll show it to you in a minute, but I need to read it first. 9ADE, 4-dig, right there. First formulation. Look how dark that stuff is, if you can even see it. Yeah, this is it right here. This is the OG. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But anyway, I wanted to get the newest formulation, and I've been wearing this stuff to bed almost every night for the past week or so. I don't know why. I've just been obsessed to kind of go through phases where I just get hooked on something, and I like having a kind of a comforting scent to wear in the evening, and this has been it for me. And every morning, the next morning for days, I could smell this scent on my pillow afterwards. I mean, it really still does have good longevity on fabric, and even on skin, I really can't complain given that its main use is kind of a date night, evening, just relaxing scent. But one thing I can tell you, just performance aside, is the work of art this one is. I mean, the scent DNA is so breathtakingly gorgeous and complex and mysterious, while also not being overly complex, if that makes sense. I mean, it's cardamom based with some cedar and lavender, right? It's not like it's some super complex DNA, but at the same time, the way it's blended and just how it comes across is truly next level. Let's go with this one up next, CH Min. This is the original by Carolina Herrera. Of course, when you buy it now, it's going to look a little bit different, but don't worry. Don't go tracking down bottles like this. It's kind of silly. This one has leather, it's got grass and sugar. Interesting note breakdown, but you do get this green smell, nice, wearable, light leather in here with a sugary sweetness. Talk about unique, talk about something straight up different. This kind of went really well with Privé, CH Min Privé, because that one has more of a masculine, stronger, rougher leather accord, and then with a booziness, right? Discontinued that one, unfortunately. This one's still chugging along, I do believe, and it's a lighter leather. This one's easier to wear, easier to pull off, and probably a little bit more mass-pleasing in general. But just because I said all that, the scent DNA itself is still very unique. I mean, there's nothing else out there that really smells like this. There are fragrances that have come after this one that try to replicate it or clone it or at least get close to it, but even still, just the character that this has, that sugar, grassy leather has not been replicated by anything else. I mean, this stuff is amazing. Something newer, Terre d'Hermès Eau Givrée, taking place of Eau Très Fresh, which has been discontinued due to, IFRA regulations, basically. So they just kind of, essentially, to me, made the DNA better and re-released it into a new scent, which I thought was a pretty respectable approach. They could have reformulated it and then not told anyone, and then speculation would come out, and then a whole bunch of mess would go all around that. But instead, they just kind of reworked it and put a new one out, and I think that was the way to go. It's got some citron, vetiver, some other woods in here, watery notes to some small extent, kind of like an Eau Très Fresh, but it's not really a watery or aquatic scent, at least not to me, but it smells very, very nice off the top. You get that citron and it is strong, like pungent, potent, strong, citrus, sour, and even a little bit sweet to some extent. Definitely going to be for citrus lovers only. If you're not a fan of it, then you're not going to like this one. But if you are, this is a citrus fragrance with some true character. Kind of an obvious one yet again, but I just kind of had to do it at the end of the day. It's Dolce Gabbana, the one Eau de Parfum, one of the most successful men's date fragrances ever created. Same with La Nuit de l'Homme, honestly, but this one as well. It's got tobacco and amber and some nice mild woods in here. And I mean, this DNA, this is another one that I wear to bed all the time. This is what a bottle looks like that's really kind of almost empty. I don't know if you can even see. I mean, there's literally, look at that. This is insane. I have many more, so don't worry, I'm not almost out. I mean, I'm almost out of this one, but I got plenty more bottles. But this is my first bottle, my sad little bottle that I've ran through, because this scent to me is kind of one of those things that works well with my taste, and it's one that genuinely puts a smile on my face and makes me feel good. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. It's fragrances that make you feel good, fragrances that you truly, thoroughly enjoy, and this has been one of those for me for years. Second to last, we have Pasha de Cartier Parfum. So I've talked about this one a good amount in the past, and it's one of those designers that is very unique, and Cartier is good at that. I mean, they put out some premium, top-level products that also don't really ride any sort of hype train. They don't put out blue fragrances. They don't put out iris fragrances just because it's trending. They kind of do their own thing, and I really respect that. And like I had mentioned, great quality. This stuff here, wow, it is breathtaking. It's got liqueur, there's some fir in here, balsam fir, there's some sandalwood, some benzoin. It's rich, it's silky, it's sweet, it's smooth, very sexy, and very high end. So it does have that booziness going on, which is nice, but not done in like a playful way or in immature, unprofessional way. Sometimes fragrances with certain types of whiskey accords or rum accords can kind of then make it a little bit more unprofessional smelling. This one's the opposite. This smells professional to the max for like a businessman who's doing multi-million-dollar deals or something crazy, right? That's not me, but this smells like it could be on that dude. Definitely a work of art, and I really think this is one you guys should check out if you have a little bit more of a sophisticated taste and maybe you're a bit older. And we'll end this video with Le Male Les Parfums. Big fan of this one here as well. Mainly because it takes the original DNA, the original Le Male, the lavender freshness, mixes it with some of the sweetness from Ultramale, and then adds in a heavy dose of cardamom and even a little bit of iris. So as you guys probably know, judging off of my love of La Nuit de l'Homme, I love cardamom, I love Memo Paris African leather because cardamom, very strong in that one. And I've just really been a fan of that note for a long time. Love it, whether it's used in the forefront or just a little bit. This one's kind of right in the middle. You get a good dose of it and it smells great. The iris gives it a little bit of a silky creaminess as well, but it doesn't all of a sudden throw it into Dior intense territory or anything. Nothing like that, right? This one is really kind of on its own, other than smelling a little bit similar to some of its other flankers. But I do think this is another example of a flanker done right. There's not a thing I would change about this one. Even the performance is great. But again, just talking scent profile, this is a work of art for real. Sounds kind of stupid. You see the bottle and you're like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. But trust me, try this one, and I think you'd be impressed. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. 10 men's designer fragrances that are a work of art. I love these things. And if you don't care about compliments and all of the other stuff that surrounds typical men's designer fragrance talk and conversation, and you just want fragrances that focused on the scent first, at least in my opinion, I think that's what they did here with a lot of these, and they were focusing on creating something unique and different. Check these out. That's gonna do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.